The following is a presentation of Got Questions Ministries.
Oh, I see. We're all dunces in need of schooling. Oh, please tell me, oh magical computer voice, what are we doing wrong?
What is atheism?
A lack of theism. There are we done?
Atheism is the view that God does not exist.
There is a huge difference between claiming that God does not exist and saying you do not believe in one. It is like the difference between saying I don't believe in flying black dildos and flying black dildos don't exist. Philosophically, it doesn't make sense to make such a claim, especially without evidence.
Atheism is not a new development. Psalm 14 verse 1, written by David around 1000 BC, mentions atheism. The fool says in his heart, there is no God.
But the wise man proclaims it. Context is a wonderful key for us too.
Recent statistics show an increasing number of people claiming to be atheists, up to 10% of people worldwide. So why are more and more people becoming atheists?
Could it be that more and more people have access to knowledge via the internet?
Is atheism truly the logical position atheists claim it to be? Why does atheism even exist?
Fucking atheists, why do they have to exist at all? I like the old days when we could just make it illegal for certain people to speak their minds.
Why doesn't God simply reveal himself to people, proving that he exists?
Yeah, why is he such a douchebag?
Surely if God would just appear, the thinking goes, everyone would believe in him. The problem here is that it is not God's desire to just convince people that he exists.
It is also his desire to enslave believers in circular thinking and fantastical claims that can never be falsified.
It is God's desire for people to believe in him by faith, 2 Peter 3 verse 9, and accept by faith his gift of salvation, John 3 verse 16.
There are multiple definitions of faith, so I'm going to assume you mean believing in something without evidence. That is an irrational presupposition.
God clearly demonstrated his existence many times in the Old Testament. Did the people believe that God exists? Yes. Did they turn from their evil ways and obey God? No.
Did you ever consider that the God of the Bible was posited as a scapegoat for everything that went wrong amongst the Israelite tribes? And that their rebellion had more to do with the fact that he wasn't actually there to begin with? That Yahweh had not revealed himself at all, but the people thought they were being punished because there was drought and famine. These types of claims also cannot be falsified. But to primitive gullible people, they are palatable answers.
If a person is not willing to accept God's existence by faith, then he or she is definitely not ready to accept Jesus Christ as Savior by faith. Ephesians 2 verses 8 and 9.
So you are admitting that people are no longer as gullible as they used to be, and this is upsetting to you.
God's desire is for people to become Christians, not just theists, those who believe God exists. The Bible tells us that God's existence must be accepted by faith. Hebrews 11 verse 6 declares, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him."
Is it not strange that the requisite for being saved from hell is belief, yet a fireman will save me from the flames whether I believe in him or not? Thus a fireman is more just as he requires nothing from me to do the right thing.
The Bible reminds us that we are blessed when we believe and trust in God by faith. Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." John 20 verse 29. The existence of God must be accepted by faith, but this does not mean belief in God is illogical.
Let's see. Unfalsifiable claims and faulty presuppositions. You are definitely not starting out very well.
There are many good arguments for the existence of God. The Bible teaches that God's existence is clearly seen in the universe, Psalm 19 verses 1 through 4, in nature, Romans 1 verses 18 through 22, and in our own hearts, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11. With all that said, the existence of God cannot be proven. It must be accepted by faith.
The teleological and ontological arguments have been debunked to death. I could puke coat hangers and shit hammers about it. Simply because something exists and looks pretty doesn't mean that it was created or designed.
At the same time, it takes just as much faith to believe in atheism. To make the absolute statement, God does not exist, is to make a claim of knowing absolutely everything there is to know about everything, and of having been everywhere in the universe and having witnessed everything there is to be seen.
Yet it takes no effort to claim something that you have never seen exists. Sorry, but I require evidence of the flying black dildo before I'll believe in it. I know I'm such an asshole, but I have been sold some snake oil in my time. It was a terrible lubricant.
Of course, no atheist would make those claims. However, that is essentially what they are claiming when they state that God absolutely does not exist. Atheists cannot prove that God does not, for example, live in the center of the sun, or beneath the clouds of Jupiter, or in some distant nebula. Since those places are beyond our capacity to observe, it cannot be proven that God does not exist. It takes just as much faith to be an atheist as it does to be a theist.
Oh, the pain. I don't make that claim, but absence of evidence really is evidence of absence, and seeing really is believing. You can't prove that my flying black dildo isn't real, therefore
Atheism cannot be proven, and God's existence must be accepted by faith. Obviously, Christians strongly believe that God does exist, and admit that God's existence is a matter of faith. At the same time, we reject the idea that belief in God is illogical. We believe that God's existence can clearly be seen, keenly sensed, and proven to be philosophically and scientifically necessary.
Why is it scientifically necessary? You don't even explain.
The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they display knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. Psalm 19, verses 1 through 4.
Except in third world countries where cries in the millions fall on deaf ears and nothing is done to stop the suffering. Where life is short and terrible. But I am sure that is all a part of His plan.